How AI could change your life. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the most powerful assistant you've ever had is already sitting inside your phone. It can write your emails, explain complicated subjects, translate languages, create images, analyze documents, help you plan a trip, write computer code, and increasingly, it can act on your behalf. But here's the part that should make you stop. Artificial intelligence isn't just getting better at answering questions. It's getting better at doing things. You see human. And when machines move from tools that wait for instructions to systems that can make decisions and complete tasks, AI stops being something you occasionally use. It becomes something that quietly changes how you live. The biggest transformation may not happen in a laboratory. It may happen in your kitchen, your workplace, your car, your classroom, and your pocket. And it may happen so gradually that you don't realize your life has changed until you look backward. For most of human history, technology amplified physical strength. The wheel helped us move things. Machines helped us manufacture things. Cars helped us travel faster. Computers changed how quickly we could calculate and process information. But AI is different. For the first time, machines are becoming capable of performing tasks that once required parts of human intelligence. They can recognize patterns, generate language, analyze images, translate speech, summarize enormous amounts of information, and increasingly, they can reason through complicated problems. That doesn't mean AI thinks exactly like a human. It doesn't. But it means something important has changed. The boundary between what humans do and what machines do is becoming less obvious. And that could affect almost every part of ordinary life. Start with something simple, your morning. Today, you might wake up, check your phone, read messages, look at the weather, check your calendar, and decide what needs to happen that day. Now imagine an AI assistant that can understand all of those things together. It knows your appointments, it understands your preferences, it can summarize your messages, it can identify which tasks are urgent, it could potentially help organize your schedule and prepare information before you even ask. Instead of opening 10 different apps, you could simply say, "What's important today?" And the system could give you an answer. That sounds convenient, but it represents a major shift. For decades, software required humans to operate it. You opened the application, you clicked the button, you entered the information, you followed the workflow. AI is moving toward a different model. Instead of learning how to operate software, you can increasingly tell software what you want. The computer figures out the steps. That's a profound change, because software used to speak the language of computers. Now computers are becoming better at speaking the language of humans, and that could make technology accessible to billions of people who never considered themselves technical. A person who doesn't know how to code could describe a simple application. An entrepreneur could ask AI to analyze a business idea. A student could ask for an explanation at exactly the level they understand. A small business owner could generate marketing material without hiring an entire creative department. The barrier between having an idea and building something could become dramatically smaller. But then we reach one of the biggest questions. What happens to jobs? Whenever technology becomes more capable, people worry about replacement. And history gives us a complicated answer. Machines have destroyed some jobs. They have created others. They have also transformed existing jobs. The Industrial Revolution didn't eliminate work. It changed what work looked like. Computers didn't make accountants disappear. They changed how accountants work. The internet didn't eliminate journalism. It transformed the entire media industry. AI is likely to do something similar. But there is a difference. Previous technologies were often better at specific physical or computational tasks. AI can operate across many forms of knowledge work: writing, research, customer service, programming, design, analysis, translation, education. That means the impact could spread across industries at extraordinary speed. Imagine a lawyer using AI to review thousands of pages of documents, a doctor using AI to assist with medical image analysis, an engineer using AI to explore design possibilities, a teacher using AI to create personalized exercises, a programmer describing what an application should do and having AI generate much of the underlying code. The human doesn't necessarily disappear, but the human's role changes. Instead of doing every individual task, people may increasingly supervise, evaluate, correct, and direct intelligent systems. And that creates a new problem. If AI can do the first draft of almost everything, what becomes valuable? The answer may be judgment, knowing what question to ask, knowing whether an answer makes sense, understanding consequences, making decisions when the information is incomplete, and taking responsibility. Because AI can produce something that sounds extremely confident while still being wrong. That is one of the most important limitations to remember. AI isn't an oracle. It generates outputs based on patterns and information. It can misunderstand context. It can invent details. It can reproduce errors. And it can produce an incredibly convincing answer to a question it hasn't actually solved correctly. So the future isn't simply about trusting AI. It's about learning how to work with it without surrendering judgment. And this becomes even more important in education. For centuries, education has been built around a basic process. A student receives information. The student studies it. The student completes an assignment. The teacher evaluates the result. AI disrupts every part of that process. If a student can generate an essay in seconds, what exactly should an essay assignment measure? If AI can solve a difficult equation, should students still memorize the procedure? If an AI tutor can explain a concept endlessly without becoming impatient, what does a classroom of the future look like? These questions don't have simple answers, but one possibility is particularly interesting. AI could turn education from something standardized into something increasingly personalized. Imagine struggling with a concept. Instead of hearing the same explanation as 30 other students, an AI tutor could explain it differently. Then, differently again. It could use an analogy, then a visual explanation, then a practical example. It could adjust to your mistakes. Education could become less about moving everyone through the same lesson and more about helping each person understand. But AI could also make cheating easier. And if students rely on machines to do all the thinking, they may become less capable of doing difficult thinking themselves. So the technology could make education dramatically better, or dramatically shallower. The outcome depends on how people use it. And then there's creativity. For a long time, creativity was considered one of the things machines couldn't really touch. Writing a story, composing music, creating an image, designing a product, making a film. These activities were deeply associated with human imagination. Now AI can participate in all of them. A person with no formal design training can describe an image and generate one. Someone without musical training can experiment with songs. A filmmaker can use AI to explore visual concepts before production. A writer can brainstorm ideas, restructure a story, or test different approaches. This doesn't necessarily mean humans become less creative. It may mean creativity becomes more accessible. But it creates another uncomfortable question. If everyone can generate almost anything, what becomes rare? The answer may be originality. Taste, meaning, experience. A machine can generate thousands of images, but deciding which image actually matters is still a human problem. And that's why the future of creativity may not be about replacing artists. It may be about giving artists dramatically more leverage. One person could potentially do the work that once required a small production team, and that could create an explosion of independent creators. But there's a darker possibility. The same tools that make creativity easier can make deception easier. AI can generate realistic voices, images, video, text, and increasingly convincing simulations of reality. That means seeing something may no longer be enough to believe it. A fake video of a public figure could spread before anyone verifies it. A cloned voice could imitate someone. A fabricated photograph could appear authentic. the cost of creating misinformation could fall dramatically. And when the cost of creating fake information falls, the amount of fake information can rise. This creates a strange future. AI could help us understand the world better, while simultaneously making it harder to know what is real. Turning point. But perhaps the biggest change will happen when AI stops waiting for you. Today's AI often works like an assistant. You ask, it responds. But imagine an AI system that can monitor a goal, break it into tasks, use different software, communicate with people, analyze the results, and continue working until the objective is completed. That's the beginning of the shift from AI as a tool to AI as an agent. And that could change the relationship between humans and computers. Instead of saying, "Open this application," you might say, "Find me the cheapest reasonable flight, compare the schedules, check my calendar, and prepare the options." Instead of manually researching competitors, a business owner might ask an AI system to monitor an industry and summarize important changes. Instead of sorting hundreds of emails, an assistant could identify which ones actually require human attention. The computer becomes less like a calculator and more like a digital employee. That could dramatically increase productivity. But it also creates new risks. What happens when an AI makes a mistake while acting on your behalf? What happens when it misunderstands your instructions? What happens when it has access to sensitive information? The more capable the system becomes, the more important those questions become. Because a calculator making a mistake is annoying. An autonomous system making a mistake could have consequences. Big picture. And then there is the most personal transformation of all. AI could become a permanent layer between humans and information. Think about what the internet did. It gave us access to enormous amounts of information, but it still required us to search for that information. AI changes the interface. Instead of searching through 10 websites, you can ask a question and receive a synthesized response. Instead of learning how software works, you can describe what you want. Instead of memorizing every command, you can communicate naturally. In other words, AI could make technology feel less like a collection of machines and more like a conversation. And that may be its greatest impact. Not that AI becomes a robot walking around your house, but that intelligence becomes embedded into the tools you already use: your phone, your car, your computer, your workplace. But humans decide what the answer should be used for. AI can generate a picture, but humans decide what the picture means. AI can recommend an action, but humans must decide whether that action is right. The technology may become incredibly powerful, but power without judgment is dangerous. AI could change your life in ways that are obvious. It could save you time, help you learn, make work easier, give you access to tools that once required years of training. It could help you build things that would have been impossible for one person to build alone. But the biggest changes may be the ones you barely notice. The email you no longer write yourself, the search you no longer perform, the software you no longer learn, the decision you ask AI to help make, the job that quietly changes around you, the information you consume without knowing how it was produced. One day, you may look back and realize that AI didn't arrive as one giant event. It arrived thousands of times, one feature at a time, one assistant at a time, one automated task at a time. And eventually, the question won't be whether AI is changing your life. It will be something much harder to answer. How much of your life are you willing to let it change?